for 1 second, conspiracy hat again.
Also listening to a TED Talk the other day where they were explaining how this is like the first time we're going to be able to take a real picture of exoplanets. So, like, I think it was last year or the year before that, they had the woman on there speaking, and she was explaining how she started finding exoplanets based off of... It's wild how they do it. Before they would have to, like, search, they would watch a star to see if it had a day that it went dark. And then that would mean that a planet went in through it, basically, right?
Yeah.
And they ended up improving the technology so much where they're able to get like these clear pictures now of planets. So they're really going to be able to eliminate like what is a earthbound or earth-like type of planet really quick now and decide. I think that's going to be so cool, man.
Yeah. There's a lot of planets that they have like listed as Earth-like. But there's no way to probe these planets. You know,
Right.
all they know is that it's typically like the planet is in its habitable zone, so it's in an area around the star where it wouldn't be too hot or too cold to try and sustain life and possibly even hold water. And then from there, and then from there,
human.
yeah, exactly,
Walking, talking. It could just be an organism.
So pretty much, if there's water on these planets, you know, it's hot and it's in that habitable zone, it's more than likely that some type of organism would evolve there and eventually become something and live on. Now, the other thing that, like, you know, will be cool is when we figure out if there's a way for life to live on planets that we don't expect it. So, like, you go to, Mercury, and you're like, man, like, there's some type of, like, flame-resistant organism that lives in the cores of Mercury or some shit. It's so hot there, we think nothing could exist there. But deep down in a core, it's something does, like, dang, that's gonna really like send it to like a whole different level. Like, I don't even know what could, like, that's where you get kind of like sci-fi-ish, where you're not even sure what type of organism would evolve in an ultra ice environment or like a gas planet or some shit. Like,
and like, here's one thing I always thought about, even since I was younger. I'm like, are you even sure you can see it? Are you even sure you know what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Because, like, let's just say we know X of whatever in the universe is X of miles away, right? And Mercury is X amount of days away or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But we've never actually traveled that far. And we believe in things like light years and wormholes and black holes and time-space continuums.
Yeah.
So who's to say that you can't just look straight out and see what you would see?
Yeah.
Right? Like, maybe there's levels or like lenses that go through that sight that alter what you're seeing. And I know they explain that. We're really not qualified to talk about any of this, but like, they're saying they're going to take a picture of the Big Bang.
Yeah.
So, and they're able to see a picture of the Big Bang because they're going to take a picture so far back that it's going to show them the past.
Yeah.
This is very hard to even conjure it in somebody's head.
Do you know? It's a picture. It's I believe it's like called like it's a picture of the cosmic background radiation of our universe, and it's supposedly supposed to be the earliest picture of our entire universe. Which I'm not even sure how you can, like, which way you would aim to try and get there. Like, it's like shit like that where like you start feeling almost like a dummy. We're like, well, which way would be towards this where the Big Bang came from? Like, where would you even know or is it all around us? You know, like because in my mind, like, because we're so like kind of planet bound, we can only send out these instruments like the James Webb Telescope, which tell us a lot, but we can't probe far planets and figure out what, you know, if life actually lives there on these distant galaxies. We can't even be for sure that this distant galaxy might even still exist somehow. You know, like, it's so far and unfathomably like wide. Like, space is so deep. Like, they say like the next closest star to ours is like a couple of light years away. Like, it's like crazy shit like that. Like,
and even with like the James Webb, I seen the other day, they expect that thing to last 10 years. You ain't even gonna have nothing for that long.
Yeah, and
have something else going up.
And it already got hit by something.
Yeah,
like,
apparently it's good though.
Yeah.
You know what I seen was cool too? A quote the other day. It said, "We are the generation, or I guess you could say the century, maybe, the millennium, right? That it's too late to explore Earth and too early to explore space. was like, damn. They might
where-
have got us, bro.
That's where you go ocean, I guess. You know, I guess that's where you go ocean.
That's another thing I see that I want to bring up. How much of Earth do you think is land?
Oh man, it's very low. I think the percentage is roughly around 3/4 of the planet is water, and 1/4 of the planet's actual land mass. Some shit like it's around there.
Right, but the guy was like, "Well, what's under the water?"
Land.
So it's 100% land.
It's all that just has some water on top of it somewhere.
There's so many conspiracies too. I seen some wild ones today that they were like explaining how we can't map the ocean and we need to stop being worried about space. Your chair going in like that? The creek. We gotta oil your chair up. Well, they were talking about like, we can't, but
The table, man.
you
God
gotta
damn.
really read in, and when you really read in, you see. Recently, I just seen they're actually about to. They've mapped the ocean before, but with lower technology, they actually just got another grant to map the entire ocean again, with like this grade A technology. And if they're looking in the Amazon graveyards of 100 feet deep, right? They're gonna be able to like figure that out. You see how them. And then them, just the radars that the Bass Pro fishermen got. Like, in that
Yeah.
it's like 50 feet, bro, of whatever's down there. That shit is crazy.
Bro, like the fact that someone back then even tried to measure the ocean floor and the ocean depth, like there were people who would sail around in these ships, and they had these like spools of rope, and it was like every 100 feet was a knot. And so like they would just drop with a weight, they would just drop this thing down, and like that's, and then once they hit the bottom, they would then measure the knots and count the knots and shit, and that was like the measurement of the ocean floor from there. But like,
What happens when you've got that bitch attached to your ship, and like it keeps going?
so the guys, that's how Mariana's Trench was found, which is like 15,000 feet or
They
something
just
down.
bombed it.
So they were going, and this bitch, I was just thinking like, this bitch was just going, and that shit just never stopped. And they were
That
just
had to
like,
be terrifying.
what the fuck are we dealing with here? There's a fucking bottomless hole on this
1,000
planet
feet.
covered by ocean. Like, what type of shit is going on? And then, I mean, if like we don't, because we don't know about the ocean floor, we really don't even know. Like, there could be a lot of missing, like, meteorite strikes in this Earth's history that like we would find or stumble across, just like exploring this ocean floor and just being like, hey, hold up, like this is a pretty big fucking. This might be a fucking meteor in this bitch. Like, who knows?
I do think it's very interesting that they found water under the ocean. I think that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that shit's super weird. I've seen
That's
that.
very hard to explain or
And
understand.
then and when they show them, they're in like, it just looks like nothingness around, and there's just a hole right there, and a scuba diver goes up. There's all these like like clams and shit around it. I think they had a video where like an eel swam into it and almost died. Cause it's just toxic. It's like super salty or some shit like that. That shit gives me like some type of like, it's like a whole phobia mixed with the ocean. I don't know. I wonder where that goes.
Yeah, you gotta be crazy to hop in a hole like that.
How could you measure how
What's
deep
it?
that is or what's under there? I don't think you ever could. Like, well, if you can't, like, there's just nothing that made to go and withstand that. Like,
So was that one guy, like, like we said before, like you'd be that guy they shoot into space.
yeah, it'd be
There's
pretty cool.
somebody who would be that guy who go in that.
Oh
cave.
yeah, jump in that
It's
hole.
like fuck it.
People go in crazy holes all the time.
Before,
People go into crazy shit all the
we
time,
should
man.
just start the like. First of all, did you see that video I sent you with the sound in the water?
Yeah,
the
the frequencies, man. Yeah, that shit
That is
is
scary, mind blowing.
sound, man. Like
The way that it did it, too, it funneled it. Like it
To-
funneled, like
to where it looked like it was like just like
DNA
frozen.
strand,
It was like
bro.
frozen in the fucking like, it wasn't even flowing. Like it was. That's
it's
the.
so weird. Can't even explain
It was, so like they have something called like laminar flow, which is just like the perfect flow. So like with air, if you hold a flame in front of laminar flow, the flame will go one way and won't like flutter. It'll just go one way smoothly and will burn just like a normal lighter, but will just be blowing sideways. So with like water, when it has laminar flow and it's coming out of a hose, it pretty much looks like it's not even flowing. So you hit it, and then you're able to see that the water's running, but it just looks like it's coming out so perfectly.
Oh, I see. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So it looks like it's a mixture of that with cause I don't know the science behind it,
Right.
but it's the frequency and the hose because they slowed it down, and the hose was like just like moving like this in such a perfect motion to make this water look like it was standing up. It's just so
incredible.
weird to the eye. Yeah.
Bro, what about that article I sent you? I don't know if you read it. Gas stoves.
Mm-hmm. They had
That is
yeah.
incredible to think about, bro.
See,
Nobody ever questioned gas stoves.
well, it's
It makes so much sense.
yeah, yeah.
we never questioned
But
it.
it's also a recent technology when you think about it. How a gas stove in everyone's house, like, when did everyone get those? Like maybe 40s, 50s, like.
That's
You know?
not that recent, bro.
Yeah, but you're talking like 70 years of like, you
But
know, people studying or
did you
even
read the
thinking about
article?
studying that yet.
Because the doc in there literally says, he's like, there's over 50 years of research of
That's
gas
what I'm
stoves
saying,
being
50.
banned in
Yeah,
people's homes.
I'm saying you have to study for 50 years though, you know, to actually do that. So like,
Well, you could have called it at 20. If you
Yeah.
say there's 20 years of research
Yeah,
that
but-
suggests this is
but-
bad,
but we're also talking like people who like took heroin for like medicine and shit. Like, you know, it's like
that is a medicine.
it's like a flaw. There's like a flaw.
You know what
you know,
I was
and,
thinking?
You know, it's an evolution of people, you know, doing stuff like this.
You can't say nothing until you have electric stoves. That's the thing.
That's very, very
You know
true.
what I
And you're also talking about a huge gas industry.
60%
To say
of American homes.
that they didn't know about these types of things, I mean, because you're talking about a whole, not even like just gas stove industry, the appliance industry. You're talking about the natural gas industry as well, who are just pumping all this gas all over the fucking
And
place.
how bad it is for
It's-
it's just, it made me feel really sick, man.
Well, it was cool to see because I remember it was a couple months back. I'm not sure how far back where they had the study come out and was talking about that. So it was cool to see an actual follow up to something I seen pretty like it was like a
Yeah,
study
it's
that was, like it came out. People were like, "Oh shit!" And then they're like, "Whoa, well, maybe you should ban gas stoves because that would be crazy hit to like the natural gas industry."
Bro.
It's like it seems like it wouldn't even make sense for them to do some shit like that. Like,
When I was a kid, dog, I had horrible asthma. So when I seen them, not horrible, but I had asthma, right? And when I seen them when they're talking, like, as they define asthma, I guess, right, at the same time. But I seen them when they're talking, they're like, yeah, this is horrible for little kids and children's respiratory systems.
Mhm.
But when I was a kid, we had no heat. We turned the oven on, opened the door, 400 degrees,
Yep.
and burned all 4 heaters for hours on hours on hours to heat the house up.
Yep.
That shit was probably just like putting a generator in the crib, basically.
yeah, we did the same thing. I remember because like I actually my house still has an oil furnace.
Oh,
You know,
damn.
and when it didn't, and so I also think about that. I'm like, man, this was just an oil-fed furnace, just heating up this damn house. Like, what the?
That's
There's
crazy.
like petrol. There's like fucking crazy ass chemicals going in this tank under my house. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
it's insane. And I'm
the
living here,
waterfall is dying.
and I'm living here. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, but like the same thing. Whenever that we ran out of oil that didn't work, we would bust that stove open. You know, I think a lot of households did that. And then you see, you know, you would see the asthma. The cases of asthma be specifically isolated in poor communities. You know, you would see that based off either the infrastructure surrounded by them or this utility now that like people are now thinking about that is dangerous for them. You have electric induction stoves now.
I mean, it's just so much shit. On top of that, like, you're 20 miles from where they dispose of their sewage.
Yep.
And you're 20 miles away from when they burn their trash.
Yeah, and with all this in mind, you realize and you think there's all these things that we accept as normal day life just yesterday. But then we come to find out this is not the case. So like I remember I used to think that like you'd be like, yeah, I don't use a microwave at all. That's fucked. I'm like, well, microwave's pretty common. Like I don't see why he does that. And I'm like, well, you never fucking know what could be dangerous for you that we all assume is safe nowadays.
Well, that's another one that they put. That's research out. Like, the research is out on microwaves, bro. It's confirmed that a microwave definitely affects you. They're just saying it's not deadly. It's like we were talking about before. Like, this amount of level is good for you.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
the only
the
thing about the
acceptable level.
stoves. Even the stoves, they're just saying the levels are higher than the acceptable. Not that they won't give you an acceptable amount.
Just like that Hershey article, there's like, you know, there's now a lawsuit against them. It's just like, I mean, it's just a show, whatever. But you know, it's the same thing. They have a allowed amount, a safe level recommendation, and this particular trace was higher than just the allowable amount that we've regulated for ourselves.
Yeah.
We just, okay, oh, you can have this much cadmium in there. Oh, it could be this much radioactive. Like it's
You can have a perk 5. You
Yeah.
cannot have a perk 30.
yeah. So we're sitting here just regulating shit. All this stuff that like we know it really takes because the gas industry probably already knew, but it's gonna take someone to sit here and be like, okay, let's actually make sure. Let's actually put a case study together for 50 years to make sure this isn't some, this is actually some safe shit. Like I don't know. Like to me in my mind, like there's like in the world that kind of operates, like there's no reason for anyone to be doing this. Like the gas industry would take a hit. Like does this kind of prove that there's someone behind the scenes that could be like being like, look at some fucked up shit. We're trying to change something. I don't know. Because it just seems weird that this will come out. This is how I'm thinking about it.
Well, they gave South America those plasmas with HIV in them. You didn't see that?
No, what was that?
Pfizer and Bayran, I believe. When I sent you the article. This was a while back and shit where they did like they were doing these like blood medicines basically where they had to swap out something. I'm super unfamiliar with it. I shouldn't even be talking about it because it's gonna be one of those clips where I'm just like this and I think it's this and I think it's that. But to tell you, it's a placenta. Like they were basically transferring these placentas out for some kind of blood transfusion. It got found out that like they weren't screening for HIV to get the women's placentas before,
okay.
so they were giving people HIV. So America banned it. They still went and sold it to South America, and didn't scan for the HIVs. So it's like, what do they got to do to show you they'll do anything to you?
I mean,
What do they got to tell you, brother?
I mean, it's.
What would it take to change your life tomorrow? Like, what would it take for you to find out today for you just to be like, I'm not doing this shit no more?
Oh man.
Like, what would it take? What truth would have to fall? What door would have to cave for you to be like, that? You know what? Fuck all of this shit. If that's what that is, I'm done. I'm not even going to work tomorrow. It's fucking anarchy.
Yeah.
Fuck these motherfuckers. Like, what door would have to drop for you?
Yeah, I mean, because the first thing I think, I'm like, well, they would have to, like, shoot on our population, but I'm like, well, they're killing other people. They do shit like that. It's like, man, like, they are killing people. We should be standing up now for that, some shit like that. Like they're slaves out there right now. We should be standing up for that. We should be refusing to buy these products. All these types of things should make this type of thing fall, but it just doesn't. And like every day that like in like my mind, like that, like the status quo is kind of in play, like the. Like pretty much that everyone's just all going to work. Like this whole thing's still standing. It just seems like we would have to see a legitimate fall from grace, or like they shoot someone on the street in the face or some shit. Like we're protesting, they shoot someone in the army. Like I think the army. I think that'd be crazy, dog.
If they do that,
yeah. Like I mean, because they've done it before. But like, have we seen some shit like that nowadays where they just
even one person? I don't think that's enough. They'd
Yeah.
just be like, yeah, something got out of hand. It was they let what? Rittenhouse catch 2 bodies out there.
yeah.
They're letting him get away with a shot, especially if he lives.
They said they were investigating the incident on January 6th, where that Secret Serviceman shot the woman that was climbing through the glass inside. Yeah, they said they were investigating that to see if that was lawful or not. And I mean, I thought that one was pretty clear. It's just like, man, like stop. Stop.
How about the Brazilians, bro?
Oh my God.
The Capitol
Bro.
with a remake of our version of doing it.
It's like the same goddamn like story almost, man. Like
It's crazy.
yeah, it's absolutely insane.
That's like the formula now.
Yeah.
If you lose, just be like, this shit's rigged.
Well, it seems like if you have elections.
If you win, you're just like sore loser. And if you lose, you're just like, this shit's rigged.
Yeah, and if you're not like some type of like brutalistic dictatorship that will like crack down on its citizens and kill people and like lock them up like like Russia, China, like
In all fairness, like I think in my opinion, why that played out similar also though was the fact that it's not like it was a blowout. It was very close.
Mm-hmm.
Trump and Biden was very close,
Mhm.
and their presidents were very close when they went for it.
Yep.
So if you got a 70-30,
Yeah.
it's very rare that like that 30 is going to stand up like that. But when it's 50-50, bro, we talked about this before. Like, what is democracy? Is it 51-49?
Yeah.
Is it 55-45?
Yeah. It's the ultimate question.
There's a lot of things that you really got to choose. Okay, so you're saying that basically if you see a cop shoot a protester in the face, well, you said arm, but let's say face, you would then not go to work tomorrow. You're going to try to get weapons. You're done with all of this.
Yeah, but I mean, but like shit would also have to hit the fan. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it was like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
You wouldn't go start nothing.
yeah, it'd just be like you go outside, you're just like, and everyone's just going about, just like.
You just go to work.
But I feel like I would go
With your AR.
like if there was like some real like let's say like there was like some real like people really were like up in arms about that, I'd go join them.
You didn't join the
Yeah,
riots.
I join them. I did not join those rides, bro. Yeah, did not join those rides. Did not.
So you want it.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
So what would it take?
I mean, like that was I think that was different, bro. You know what I'm saying? That was a complete different
What?
thing.
You didn't see white people?
Oh no, you didn't see white people at all.
What?
What I saw was a bunch of white people going like, "Let's go, let's allies." Like it's I'm with my friends.
What would it take, bro? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's fun because I can pretty.
So
much, we've already seen them, right? We've seen them on camera plant drugs. We've seen them plant guns. We've seen them kill a man,
Poison people.
shoot him. We've seen them shoot a man in his back while he was running away. Grab a guy and plant it on him.
Yeah.
On camera. I didn't do it. We seen a man strangled. We seen a man with his knee on his neck, suffocated.
Yeah.
You know, asphyxiated, I believe is what it's called. And I wonder, like, what is the point? Like, you're watching Casey Anthony get off. You're watching Kyle Rittenhouse get off. Like, what does it really take? What is it really going to take for people to be like, you know what? It's to the point where I'll start it.
Yeah.
Like, well, okay, that's what I'm asking now. What's the point to where you would start?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, like, because they've done an awful lot of shit. That would already warrant us starting some shit. Like, yeah. I guess like I guess from there like you gotta go. So from there you gotta go like. I guess you're a victim of this shit. Like that definitely gets another next level going. Like either your person next to you, that definitely gets it going to the next level. Yeah,
or somebody you love.
Yeah, because I mean, like
but nobody else cares because it didn't happen to them.
Yeah, but I mean, there's also something to like just being removed, from everything as well.
Yeah, that's true. Like not fully believing it or something.
Or like Flint, was a big thing. They didn't get water for. They still don't have anything to have clean water.
But
and people were drinking that shit. We had our version with lead.
Like with the Squeegee Boys, I'll tell you, like, bro, every time I stop at the light, it's bad encounter with Squeegee Boys. You tell me every time I go there, it's no problem. What can I say? We both live in two different realities. If it doesn't happen, I can't prove it for you. You can't prove it for me.
Yeah.
We live in separate realities here.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because we also have like such a strong. Like, it's, like, almost ingrained in us to just, like, it's like, yeah, like, be sure you stand up to tyranny. It's in the Constitution, for Christ's sake. You can take up arms. If tyrannical government comes in, you can defend yourself. Take this land. Fight for freedom. But you look at, like, like, in, like, France, they have, like, a strong, like, labor culture. Where you saw those truck drivers out there and those, the firefighters and... other laborers, they were going insane, going out there, fighting for their shit. They have it's so ingrained in their identity. They're so ready to just pop off and get what they want for for these types of negotiations and shit.
Report for them Russian officers. Like there was one Russian officer, long story short, had got just a horrible deal from Putin. And he got fucked, bro. And they were like listening to him. He's about to go back out, and he's like, as a Russian, this is what you're taught. He's like, you don't question the government. You love your country. You go. You fight. Like this is what we do. I was like, that's one way to go about it, but I don't know. Like, here's the question I was gonna ask is, okay, let's say you're finally at that point where you're like, fuck this shit. I'm about to go fight back. If the government came to you individually and said, Stephen Baker, here's 5 acres in Western Maryland, nobody will ever bother you again. Just leave. You're probably likely to take something like that, right? So it's funny how you're really in it because of so much of what you want from it yourself. It's like not even about the whole people's fight because everybody didn't get the acres.
But not everyone got the acres. No,
everybody acres with what you got. So that personal whole rebellion factor is really coming from what you think how your life's gonna change.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it'll be that
like-
nomadic life I always pictured.
Yeah. It's like that. It's like work would not like it would have to not exist tomorrow. Like,
We all just don't want to go to work.
the
As soon as COVID
shop
came,
was
bro,
burned down.
We could not wait. As soon as COVID came, bro, everybody was just like, we cannot work. And
I'm terrified.
and then once they were off, they were like, I cannot come back during this. Like we were all so eager.
People were so financially in a hole they were committing fraud. They were just like,
Fuck it.
it was like
I'm
so.
all in.
Yeah.
It really I guess it doesn't bother me, but I really wonder how do some people see things so short-sighted? Like that terrified us thinking about in the long run they come back for you. You end up owing hella taxes at a time when you need the money the most. But some people are just like NA house, company name,
Yeah,
4K,
yeah.
5K for this guy, 6K for
so
my
like,
uncle.
so I mean, I don't agree. I don't agree with how they went about it, but I mean, like, everyone was surprised about the tolls that they got, you know. And I'm not saying that they're not being shiesty and they're dirty and they double billed me, you know, straight up. But like, everyone was surprised by his tolls that came in from like 2 years back, and they kept going through the tunnel. Everyone knew it was like they were gonna be built at some point, and everyone just like, oh my god, $2,000 I owe, like what the fuck, you know, like shit like that. It's like,
now that we're talking about things like that, I was seeing something the other day where somebody was like, wow, 1 year already. And I was like, yeah, exactly. 365 days later. It's like, yeah, it's 1 year. Literally later, dude. That's how this time 365 days after this, it's gonna be 2 years. Like, this is how shit goes. I know I've kind of referenced it before, and it sucks because you have a senior citizen in your home that you love and care about, but it's the same thing. I'm always like, I can't believe Granny died. Like, Granny was 89 years old.
Yeah.
It was around during the Depression.
mm-hmm.
I can't believe Granny lived.
Yeah.
You should be very. That's how you gotta love, or you got to love like people are already dead.
Yeah,
They're already gone.
We were we have a little family group chat, and we were all talking, kind of like laughing. And I remember I was talking like we're talking about how old she was, and I was like, you know, she drank from different water fountains. Like she was like pre-segregation, like probably a teenager as the war was going on. She was 13 during World War II type of deal. Like crazy shit was going on in the world. People were they seen Pearl Harbor.
Her heart pumped a
Part of
million
that.
times.
Yeah,
That's the shit I think about. Her body transferred waste 10 million times.
Mm-hmm.
Breathed in 1,000 chemicals.
Made so much food.
Yeah, like all this shit that body just dealt with. It just, man, it's just weird how like we're all just these little brain vertebrae trying to improve our lives.
Yeah, I mean,
we're just trying to improve our lives
yeah.
as much. That's honestly where it all comes from, though. Like you want to improve your life. That's the truth is. And now you could be a good person, right? And you believe that your life will be improved if everyone's life was improved. But you're saying you want your life to be improved. You wouldn't say, oh yeah, all of you, I'll fight for it. All of you guys get it and I don't. But you would say, I don't fight for it. I get it and you guys don't. And we're so quick to just be on the other side of that.
Yeah, you know, I mean,
it takes like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be crazy to say that like you would do something like that, you know. But like to sit here and be like, oh, like I get it, I don't get it. I'm here to just give it to all of you guys, you know. Like it sounds so crazy, but you know, like especially when you think about people close to you, it's like, you know, I would love to do that for those people, you know, to be like, yeah, I don't reap any of these benefits, but here you guys go, you be free. Like I don't know, like, but again, it's just how you think, you know. It could just all be like an ego thing. But like I would love to give that to some, you know, people I care about.
It reminds me of Brian in Life, where he tries to get the one prisoner to shoot the other prisoner he hates, and he's like, I ain't doing that. He's like, I hate him. I ain't no bootlicker. Yeah, it's like, dude, I don't know, but how far are you willing to go with who you are in this life? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are, Steve?
Yeah.
Like, put it in your own words.
I put in my own words who I am.
How do you think people see you?
So tough to say.
Say,
you know, but like, you know, I think
something about yourself, and I'll tell you if I see it.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, I just how based on my interactions with people, you know, I think even though I may think differently of myself sometimes. I think I'm definitely I'm starting to like kind of like name off like kind of like I guess like traits almost, but I mean like I think I could be very likable. I think I could be charming. I think I could be super funny. I think people get along with me. They see I'm a kind person. I do think of others. I'm thoughtful. I think I'm a very just like open-hearted individual. And although I think also at times people kind of like view it as like weak as well. It's like because like you could be only so nice type of deal, but some people would like cut off behavior sooner than I probably would. So I mean like negatively some people might view that. And yeah, I mean I definitely feel like I have those. But that's one of my biggest fears is that like your personal perception is completely skewed from the actual reality of how people view you.
Right. Well, like even just now you named all positives.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's why I try to go to the other side.
What do you think? What do you think people see your negatives?
As I said, I think people definitely probably view me as weak because of that. Like like I said,
that's not that bad though. Yeah. Somebody sees you as weak, it's like what?
Yeah, I mean I'm trying to think.
It's hard to say.
No, I mean it's just like like I think I can definitely be. I think it'd be flaky at times. I think people don't like. I mean, who would like that? Of course. So I mean, like, yeah.
That's a funny way of putting it.
Yeah. These are bad things. Like I don't exhume all good positive traits. I know that.
But what I'm trying to say is like it's way easier to see like what you think you're doing good. Than to see like your bad traits or how like somebody sees those. Yeah,
I mean I don't, because I mean like the way I think about like a lot of my more negative traits, I think they're, and this goes for any everybody. It's not all what's on the surface. But I think I can be, they're super finicky because I'm not a dickhead. Like I'm not like an asshole. To people. Probably get angry too quick. Not control my anger. Things of that nature, I think that it comes into like I'm not brutally honest to people. I don't like tell like I'll tell it how it is, all the time, like that type of thing. Like yeah, I think it's easier to name, but it's like it's more nuanced to describe. Like it's not like I'm so quick to like have a descriptive word for it. Like I could say charming, but it's like here I have to describe like the situation of like oh yeah I could probably be flaky, like that type of deal. It's like the words aren't. Yeah.
Right.
I think some people are pretty self-aware. And
but even those that you're saying those things exist, you couldn't even confirm those. I could say a bad thing about myself, and then someone else is like, "You're not like that."
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, all the time.
Give yourself a break.
Yeah.
I'm way worse than you.
No. We're having an honest conversation right now about what's bad about me. Like we're being honest. Like, we're trying to be objective. Yeah, but like when it comes to things like that, when people say those things, I think that's like kind of almost can fall into the category of toxic positivity, where people are just like, "Nah, you're not. No, you're not. None of those things. Like, you're not flaky. Like,
right,
you don't do
we
that.
Don't want that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like, well, yeah, you do bail out sometimes.
Do you have any mental health conditions?
No, I don't. I don't think so. I think I'm good. I think that there's a lot of times, just probably not dealing with the emotion the right way. But I don't think I have a disorder. I don't think so. But again, that's just me thinking.
Right.
That's me thinking. Like some people would say anger management. Like I don't know. I don't think I do.
What's the worst thing you ever did angry?
Nothing that crazy. Like I slammed the door. Like nothing super crazy insane.
Yeah.
But like I feel like there's times where like I get to a point where I'm just like I'm just like fuck, like what the fuck, like what the fuck was that? What was that? And then this, and then that, and what the fuck, like like I feel like a bowl is over, but I'm not sure if that's really unnatural. That's just me being like, man, I don't like me being susceptible to that type of anger. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's just more self-diagnosing. But I don't think I have I wouldn't say I have like any type of ADHD or I have an anxiety disorder. I don't think I have some type of like any other type of mental illness from there on. I think I'm overall relatively healthy. Could it be a little more overactive or whatever? Who knows? But yeah, I don't think I would say I have any type of mental illness or disorder. What about you? You think you have something like going on? Like
you never know.
You don't know. You don't know.
And then like people play into it so much, so I don't know even more.
Yeah. And then like
and then you don't want to go try to get diagnosed. Like I don't know if anyone's ever went to a therapist or a psychologist and didn't get diagnosed with something that they wanted to.
Yeah.
Like, not saying anything, but like got what they wanted.
That's another big fear of mine. You know, maybe irrational or not, is going to like a psychiatrist or to like actually talking to someone and then making a medical diagnosis on what I tell them, and then I'm forcefully like medicated and institutionalized against my will. Like that's such a huge fear of mine. I'm just like, bro, I would be terrified. You take away my rights like that. Like what the fuck?
I would never take the medicine that they give me.
Oh, but like, what if it's forced upon you? They're just like, this guy's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and then next thing you
tell
know,
them?
I
would be questioning myself, Steve. What did I tell them? Was it? I'm like, because like you're smart too, so you're not going in there saying no wild shit. You're not going in there saying the wildest shit. And the fact that you tried to like dim it down to a basic level, but to where you're still interesting, and they were like, get him out of here. You're like, damn.
It's just like I worry about the power that they have, or whatever type of abuse this power could put on me with that type of authority. With that type of authority, like there's a lot of videos like I find myself getting sucked into those like audit videos where like there's a person that like they're like, oh, what crime did I commit? And the cops are like really like, oh, you're like they get into like a little argument because this guy's just trying to figure out why he needs to give up his ID and wants to be combative, blah 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 blah. And the cop sits here and he's just like, oh, your speech is a little slurred. Are you okay? Are you drunk? Are you intoxicated? And like, I'm just like, bro, like, and then the cop goes on to say like, yeah, you seem like you're like, having like a mental breakdown the way you're acting right now. I'm just like, bro, like this is the exact fear I have. This guy just being like, oh, you seem like you're crazy.
Yeah, you're like, I'm fine.
We probably need you.
You're drunk and crazy.
We should probably send you to the hospital, actually.
Get on the ground.
Just blows your knee out. Blows your knee out.
So I don't know, bro. It's a hell of a question. I know what I'm putting on you when I ask it too. The only thing I've been looking for is like differences, and I do notice differences. And of course, there's levels, and there is a level to it of like maybe everybody can't voice it. But you really realize there's differences, definitely, I think, going on with the way that I just am seeing things or thinking about things. It just doesn't. Things just don't seem to be. Things that are important to me just seem irrelevant to other people. And things that seem important to them seem irrelevant to me. Mm-hmm. So then it's like, I don't even know that many mental illnesses. I only know like the top ones. I don't think I'm schizophrenic. But yeah, I talk to myself sometimes in here. Doesn't everybody create a voice?
Yeah.
Doesn't everybody do a little yes and no? Or everybody does that, right? That's a normal thing. And then what, depression? Like, yeah, it comes in waves. But I'm not in here going to hurt myself. Like I'm okay, so like I'm not, and then
of course
bipolar,
you get anxious.
Like I'm a thinker. Yeah. I'm a thinker, so I'm always all over the place. I can be down or low. I want to be everywhere.
You get anxious.
Exactly.
Yeah, you feel all these different things.
Drinking coffee and caffeine.
You get stressed.
Like that, so,
you get stressed. Yeah.
But sometimes I wonder. I'm like, I don't know. Like what can I don't? Like I said, I'm not an expert. So like sometimes I think empathy is a mental illness, bro. I really do. Like the way that it makes you suffer. And that's like, once again, as we kind of described before the cast, like that's them describing what this is to me. Yeah. I'm just using that word because it's the closest thing that I can describe to another human of what that is. But there's not to say that that's what it is.
But in a not so fucked up world, you might feel a lot better about some things, and you probably want to have to exhibit so much empathy in so many fucked up scenarios. If there was just less fucked up scenarios.
I mean, yeah, bro, but like I don't know. Like I've been reading a really good empathetic book, and it's like for me, bad happens in the world, right? Things have to die. Things have to die in the world no matter what. In a perfect world, lions still hunt. Yeah. Right? You're not going to stop a lion from hunting. Yeah. I feel like that's just like always you're just processing even things like that. Like an elk getting hunted. Like, bro, see the oil spill the other day made me emotional. Then another oil spill. It's going to be 40,000 gallons. They're showing the picture from above. I'm just like, wrecked, dude. Like, it's just like everything. It's every bad thing. It's not just like personal or human or nothing. So, and bad's going to happen. And you're just like, fuck, man. I really see why, like, I will never ever question a soldier's PTSD. Never. If you were on tour, bro, I'm not going to say a fucking thing about you. Because I just feel like I get it, man. I definitely get how people you can't leave it. Like, you just can't leave that spot where that happened at.
No.
You're always there. Like, when they say you leave a piece of you, That's
Yeah.
what it feels like. You left a piece of you at all of these huge emotional dump-offs.
And it imprinted on you like inversely. Like you left a piece of you there, but like it took that blow to blow a piece of you off. Like
I mean, it's literally like it's modern science, but you're seeing like the science is coming out of like what PTS really does to brains, dog. It severs neurons. It severs connections. Like your brain
kills.
is literally making things happen to make you survive, to make it go on, like things that you can't process. That's why when you talk to these people, bro, they all experience similar things. We've talked about it before, you know, but when somebody's going through something tragic, time slows down. When someone's dying, oh, I've seen a white light. Jesus talked to me. I've seen my grandfather. It's all similar things because our brains are doing the same thing to process that trauma. No matter what it does, it's just figuring out, how can I make you the happiest in like this moment right here that's just like absolutely horrible. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful that it's trying that, but I think you get over things like that happen once, but when you keep severing those neurons like that, it just like leave like connections that never gap.
Yeah, and
you leave something with you that day.
it's also the impact of it on you as a whole. You know, I mean, there's definitely more severe forms of it, and there's definitely levels. But regardless, it's an injury. It's an impact to you as a person, regardless of what level you may even have. You know, because smack the fuck out of you, and you could be completely rocked. You know, like your whole mental and emotional well-being could be thrown off. Like it's just.
See, this is what I really struggle with, Steve, is because like it doesn't bother. I mean, even you. Like, I don't think it bothers you as much. Like, it doesn't seem to bother you guys as much as it bothers me. I'm not trying to. I don't like saying that because it excludes me from the group, and I want to be part of the group that's going forward. I don't want to try to say I've got something figured out. Like we talked about before. I want to say we, not you. But like for some reason, I don't feel that way. Like it bothers me more. Things bother me more. They bother me a lot more to where I can't really focus on the good things because the bad's like so bad. And then the fact that I'm like, I suffer through this bad. And then Steven, who I love, suffers through this bad. And my sister suffers through this bad. And my nephew's going to suffer. It's like I just go on and on. I'm like so frustrated over these key things that I don't like. I just cannot find any bit of peace in anything else. It's all just fake. Like I said, how much do you want to lie? How much do I can lie all day. I can get through any single day. But if I really want to focus on things, like, things really bother me. I cannot get over things. Even with resolution. Like you give me your final answer, I'm still am bothered that my life played out this way with our connection, our friendship, or our relationship. I'm still bothered by it, even with the answers. Because I don't know if it's a perfectionist or what, but like I want to like play it out, right? Like I want it to be right. I don't want it to be wrong. So every time I fuck up, it never leaves me. It just stays there, bro. And it's like from the stupidest shit to the biggest shit. I never leave that fucking moment. And you just stockpile them.
Every single one, no matter what it is. There's just so many of them.
You left so like a piece here, piece here, piece here, piece here. You're just like there's just pieces, and there's just not much here anymore. You know, so I think that's really what they're trying to explain with PTSD, and once again, it's as they explain it.
Yeah,
I think that's what they're saying. Is like
and
I get it.
And that's more so of like an analogy. That you really like you really can't explain. Like it's not really like you actually lost some type of like physical piece of you. It's you that day, that moment, you know, just rocked and changed your existence forever, you know. Yeah. I mean, like, which ones do you think in particular? You know, like would you have like an example? Like,
I mean, it'll fuck me up. I really will. Like, I just have really bad decisions that eat at me, bro. That things that you just don't even. You're like, it's not even like I'm a bad person or nothing. You're just making mistakes. Like you literally, you couldn't do better at the time. That's literally who you were, but you still fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's just a lot of shit of like, even I like for our example with Saul, it's like it bothers me that I didn't call him more. I get so choked up on the stupidest shit. Like, it'll never make sense, bro. I can't explain it. It'll never, like, I'm bothered that I didn't meet Saul earlier. And I'm bothered that I lost him early. Mm-hmm. And I'm bothered that I didn't do more. Like, I can't, like, I know it's not my fault. Like, I know these things aren't my fault, bro. But they still, like, they happen to people. And I've told you before, like, I just feel like you don't really get over things. You just kind of learn to live with them, you know? So it's just really tough, bro.
Yeah.
And that's just one of the. I just really wish. This shit is so lonely with no one, bro. Like it's these people that we have, no matter how bad they are, like they're everything, bro. They're everything to your life. They're all the color in the world to you. None of it matters, bro. None of what God did on God's green earth matters without people. And you just can never get these connections back that you lost, bro. We've talked about before, like the difference between friends now and childhood friends, but you meet these people at a time in your life, and I want all of these connections to go right. Like I want you to be my friend for life. I want to die old with you, with our children. I always picture it going right, and it goes wrong, and then you're like, fuck, you really can't describe it. And then good people, men that might even be better than you, get bad things happen to them, and you can't explain it. So it's really bothersome, bro. And I know I've heard it so many times, and that's why I don't even like talking about it no more, because it's like I always feel like it's like you're playing this victim role, but you just like if you get it or you don't get it, bro.
Yeah.
It every single thing about the altercation bothers me because I can no longer repair it. Like shit that we argued about, the times that we had bad friendships, it doesn't bother me because we've repaired it. We've fixed these things, right? But then like the things that go unamended and shit, and then these people are gone forever, bro. These relationships and shit, they're gone forever.
Can't get it back.
I'll
There'll
never
be
be
nothing.
able to fix them, man.
Things unanswered.
And at the time, you should be doing these things, but you don't, and you're just like, you're overvaluing like underachieving people in your life, and you're undervaluing people that are overachieving in your life. Like it's crazy, bro. It's so crazy. Like you love people that do nothing for you, and you turn your back on people that like known you forever. It's so weird how we would just sway with the wind on how like things go or how life is playing out. Like I can't explain it, Steve. Like, I'll just go on and on, bro. I'm just so bothered, like.
Like I said,
with all of them, it's all individual situations.
Yeah.
It's like
It's not like any one thing,
it's
but
different things that played out.
Yeah,
like, It's crazy, bro. It really is, man. Like with Shane, Shane really bothers me because, like, I watched him do these drugs, and like I'm doing some drugs, but I'm not doing these hard drugs. I know. I've seen what happens when you do these hard drugs, so I'm not touching those downers. I'm not touching no opiates. But I'm with someone every day that is. I know that he's too fucked up, and I'm just like continuing to go on, like keep the party going. Where are we going next? Like, oh, that's what he does basically, and you're just letting it go to it. It accumulates to someone's loss of life, bro. And you're like, how dumb could you be? I'm smart enough to know that this was wrong.
And that you wouldn't do it.
And that I wouldn't do it, but I'll sit here and be around it and let somebody in. You know how it is when you talk to people like this. Like, it's not like you never say nothing to him. Like, he knows I don't fuck with this. He knows, like, I'm like, bro, like, that, no. Like, you should stop doing that. It's too expensive. Look how you are on it. You can't even get no bitches. Like, I'm telling them. But they're not going to stop. Like, they're in it. They're an addict.
Yeah.
That's like it's crazy to think about like what this man consumed and shit, bro, and like nights that just kept going, like so many nights that you just like should have lost it all. It really is wild, and then to think about you both just like I don't know why that bothers me so much, bro. Like going your separate ways in life. I don't know what it is. Like whatever you want to attachment issues, man. Like. It just, if I love you, bro, I'll just always love you. I told you before, like, I already know, like, even with you, it's like, bro, you could never love me as much as I love you, Steve. I can tell you that right in your eyes. Like, you couldn't, bro. No matter how much you told me, nobody I know could ever love me as much as I love them. I just know it for a fact. Like, I can see it. Like, I just feel it. Like, I don't know what it is, but I just get so attached to you guys. Like, I love you. I care about you. It's over, bro. I told you I'm a sucker.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker. Like
you're a simp.
You'll get me, yo. You'll get me, and I'll never want to break your heart, bro. I'll care about it so much more than anybody would ever care about how they would speak to me or how their impression on was me. Like it's not even close. And whatever that is, I don't know. That's why I say I feel like maybe it is a mental illness because I just like wear this burden.
Okay.
But I don't deal. I told you I don't deal with any other all them other things that I named.
Yeah.
So it's like there is certain things where it doesn't seem to bother you guys as much, man. Whatever that is what that is. You know?
Yeah. 100%. You know, I mean, like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, is it a mental illness or like are we all just really different in how we just view, think, and even feel about things? You know, like I've told you before, like there are times where I've kind of almost felt like a psychopath at times because of like things that would invoke emotion just felt like they didn't. You know, was that my defense mechanism? Is that me? Did I play some like this is one of the things I always worry about because your brain's deadly, man. Your brain's tricky. You don't know your brain like your brain knows you. You know, you don't know your brain as much as your brain knows you, type of deal. So when you think like, did you set up some type of like precursor thought before you even became a part of this situation to act as a defense mechanism to protect yourself, to protect you from being hurt, to protect whatever the case may be? In your case, is it possible that, in somewhere in your brain, do you lack some type of chemical or receptor in your brain to, not know when to stop or to not know when to stop feeling that? You know what I'm saying? Like there could literally be a mental thing going on, or we could even talk about things like our hardware, our bodies, our organs, the actual brain organ itself, the nervous system. Like really, like any of these one things could have something going wonky with it to make you feel some type of way or have more emotions or feel more things. So that's where it becomes another thing to where like you then trust someone who says that they study these things to help you navigate your own brain. And it becomes one of your most vulnerable moments to where these people have so much power over you.
Speaking for you.
Yeah. And like you kind of said it good earlier where like you get the diet version. I'm giving you the version like that doesn't make me seem like kind of helps also protect me from you because you're still like someone else.
Right.
So I'm not even giving you the 100%, bro.
Bingo.
I'm not even giving you the 100%.
Because if you go to this level, right,
you can diet, bro.
I'm hoping in my mind frame I'm not alone.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that in the world there's people that feel like this.
Yeah.
I hope that's how people feel, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So now you come to someone and you're trying to explain something like this where I can't just open and give you this book.
Yeah.
Because you've been shown that you abuse it. Like you were saying how you come off weak. Well, when you give someone an open book like that, they can abuse you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Now they know who you are. They can clown you.
Yeah.
They can play you. They can manipulate you better.
Yeah.
And I tell you, like I
always
always think everyone we meet can be a part of the tribe. That's how my mind works. I'm always like, this person can be a part of the village. I want to bring you on. I want to bring you on. Like,
I think there's a lot of times for me I have more apprehensions than I do actual good feelings. Like even if this person could be really good and be giving off the right vibe, but I'm still gonna question that until I'm proven otherwise. Like I have that apprehension of just being like, I don't know about this person. There's been people like we've talked to at festivals, and like I just felt completely different about a person as being like,
bro, everything that I've said today, look at my life. It's the opposite of it. You get what I'm saying? This is how I think. Mm-hmm. This is not how I react because I'm a logical person too.
Yeah.
At the same time, I know people are out to get me.
Yeah,
So
100%.
this is where the struggle comes in.
Yeah.
Because you should be this. This is how you want the world. I want to give everyone an open door. But I got to keep it closed because you guys want to hurt people. Because you guys don't want to be nice. And you don't feel like that. And you could hurt me today and go to sleep tonight.
And that's what you want to do.
And that's
literally what you want to do.
I couldn't hurt you and go to sleep next week.
And
it's not even comparable.
And by some off chance I happen to get caught in this orbit with you, and you ruined my fucking life. You made me worse. You imprinted me in a bad way. All because like you, I would never expect someone to come in my life with bad intentions like that to really fuck with me.
Bro, I swear, I'm not trying to make this all about me, but like literally, anyone in my life that I've cut off, bro, they cannot tell you that I am the reason they got cut off. I cut those people off. No one cut me off like that. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Never, dog. Never. I feel like I never ever gave someone enough to be like that. Mm-hmm. But yet people all day long are like this. And don't give a shit. The friendships could never be matched because I'm willing to go to war for you, and you're like worried about if you can get $20 from me. Mm-hmm. It's not even like we're on such different levels of where we're at in human Cause that's what I'm saying. It's fucked up because I want to be like this. I want to be like, bro, I got you. I always got you.
Yeah.
But you're fucked me over.
Yeah.
And you showed you're fucked me over. And then you're blaming me for fucking me over.
And then you ruin it for people moving forward.
Exactly.
You know?
Bro. And you just got me stuck.
And now I'm sitting here. You're sitting here, kind of just like, well, now I gotta put you through this vetting process.
I want to be a good person.
I'm sorry, my guard's up. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Bro.
And no one's obligated to stick around and go through whatever type of emotional duress you went through to break down your wall. You know.
Right.
But we live in a goddamn fucked up world. You know what I mean? Like and some people don't feel like they have time for. I guess the barriers that like you felt you gotten past,
it's
you know,
fair.
Yeah.
If that's what it's fair.
But I mean, like it's just, we all understand what this world is at the same time, and everyone who gets past these things through these types of mental barriers, like that's what I'm saying. Like everyone, that's what also sucks is that like the only route like I can think of, I'm just like. You go see a therapist and you talk about them and they help you navigate thinking patterns and exercises to help you with positive thinking and reinforcement. And I mean, either that or some psychedelics, man. Like I wish we had some real comprehensive solutions.
The day you stop helping me, Steve, I'll go see a therapist.
Yeah.
The day this stopped working for me, at least in some form.
Oh man.
You know, I can do this. I can do some music. I can get a lot of it out, man. Like then I would go to other measures, but.
I could never. I mean, I've never been that far, but I could never see myself going like I'm gonna go to a therapist. You know, like it just. I don't know, because I guess therapists kind of freak me out in a sense. I don't know. What it might be.
I've always felt super weird about it. Like they're in like how I felt about college.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like no, never. I don't know why. I don't know exactly why, but I never.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think there is some point of talking it out that does have to be done, but I don't know. At the same time, like I hate bothering people, bro. Like even on this cast right now, like that's what I torture myself, brother. I torture myself. Like I'm mad right now in the back of my head because we talked all that much about myself. I don't mind the topic, but I hate that I'm involved. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like that's where all of it comes from at the same time.
Yes,
so
yes,
I'm constantly
yes.
like we were saying, you got to say these disclaimers. I always feel like I have to say disclaimers.
Yeah, well, I mean,
hate me.
Yeah.
I gotta be like, hey, I'm just saying what I read, or I'm not the best, or I trust me, I know people are better than me.
Yeah.
I've always got to say this, and it sucks, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, and it definitely does. That's why, like, when you think about your mind and how you perceive the world, like I told you, like I think that a lot of people's fears and where a lot of people's anxiety comes from, and a lot of the things that they think about. Is they worry that how they think about the world is not the reality of the actual world. So you feel as though you're moving by a set of rules that you personally believe in and feel about, but then you feel as though the world's not moving by those rules. Well, it feels relatively like, well, should I just fucking dive in, be this piece of shit that the world seems to favor or want? And I think that's where we all get in our spiritual heads about this type of thing, where like people talk about things like karma to just try and explain these other forces that we seem to not be able to. We try to boil it down with math. We try to look at odds and probability, to look at these types of like scenarios and how these things play out in the world, just to try and explain what could be nothing that you deserved, but just more than just like pure chaotic universe where crazy fucking shit happens. And the more of it you have, the more fucking crazy complex thinking humans we have, well, the higher the chance that we do some crazy shit to each other, and that you see lots of true crime stories. It starts off, this guy, like, especially some random ones. This guy walked out and then they chose him as his victim. He just happened to be a target. Random act of a crime. It was his day just to be killed by this person happened to be born, like it's all coincidence to line up at this particular time for this person to die. It just seems crazy. But like any alternative thinking outside of that would just be like even crazier. We just have so much on our plate, and the things that we're thinking about, like you have your personal relationships with people, you have fucking work, you have your personal self, your aspirations, and like there's a lot of times people tell you to put yourself first, and you feel selfish for doing so at times. You feel selfish for taking this time to yourself. You feel selfish for keeping you from other people. Because, again, you care about those people.
Yeah, but, like... So like, you ever feel like I've said before, like people expect more from you than they expect from themselves. You know, the higher level that you hold yourself to, the higher level you're expected of. So I feel like a lot of people are just floating on that low frequency because it's easy. Where meanwhile, if I say, you know, I have these dreams and aspirations, you're so much harder on me than you are on that person who does nothing. You're willing to chastise me and fucking try to corrupt me and bash me and shit like that. Never ever trying to support me. But you'll never bash somebody that doesn't even chase a dream. It's just very confusing. I feel like I'm willing to let go of so much, bro. I'm not getting mad. You know, nobody has time to be mad over things anymore.
Yeah.
And these people, it just feels like they want to criticize every word you say and just tear you apart. Like you know, God forbid you're wrong. God forbid you're wrong. You know, I feel like I'm never going to say anything like Kanye said, where you can be like that type of wrong. Yeah. But like, God forbid you're wrong about somebody. Somebody's just going to bash the shit out of you because you put yourself out there, man. Like, it's crazy to me how much these people are willing to judge you when they do nothing. Like, I try to open my heart up. Yeah, like I want to be an open book to these people, and everybody's like, "Yeah, you should be an open book. You should be an open book. We all should be open books. Wear your heart on your sleeve. That's a good thing." And they judge everybody that does it. Yeah. Why they never ever put their self out there and then make you look dumb or like you're a clown because you opened up. Yeah. It's like they're literally set you up. Yeah, and then just fucking kill you.
And just to have a disregard for people, man. To have disregard for another person, another conscious person. It's like at the end of the day, it seems like we all forget that this is another person that can feel just as much as you do. They can feel everything. When you talk to someone you don't know, like that's where I think like sometimes like I'll even like say some things. I remember today I said like I was talking to one of my coworkers and she said something and I said something like, you know, I felt like at that moment I sounded like a little bit like a dickhead. I thought it came out wrong. So I remember I went back. I was just like, yeah. You know, when I said that, like I was just thinking about something else. I wasn't trying to be a dick, you know, like, but like not everyone's just conscious of how they are with those other interactions with people and how they feel in that particular moment. You know, like I think that's where like the empathy comes in because like you think about how this might make a particular person feel or how that person feel. You're able to, you know, kind of like make that leap and be like, well, I would feel pretty fucked up in that scenario.
And how are they going to take it?
Mm-hmm.
You know? I had a similar situation recently where this guy, he always asked me, he's like, what do you want to do with this? He'd be like, what do you want to do with this glass? And I'm like, oh, let's set it on this wall. He'd be like, you want to set it on this wall? They always do that. Like everything's like, wait, you want to use this cutter for this? And I'm like, let's use this cutter. He'd be like, you want to use this cutter? So eventually, like I got to the point, I was like, we just put it wherever you want, bro, because you always say a different thing than what I say. And he was like, oh, we can put it where you want. I was like, well, I'm not trying to make a big deal of it. It's okay. Like we all got these ticks, right? I'm just noticing that like this is what you do. It's no big deal. So we're just doing that. But he couldn't take this well. He's like, no, well, we're just put it where you want. It was the fact that I pointed this out, you know.
Bro, very similar thing. I remember like when I was training someone. So like the management I came from, there was the way to do things perfectly to a T. So like you take the box this way, you put the label on this way. You know, it was like that. It was like that. You know, no, I wouldn't even get like yelled at for doing some shit that was like, oh, it's not the right way. It was like, well, is it that big a deal? You know, like. Oh, okay, whatever, you know. And then so like when eventually like I eventually took over and I was training this person, they were asking me about that. I'm just like, well, I mean, like, you know, you can kind of just, you know, do it as long as it's consistent. Like you're fine. Like if you want to put it straight on, you can put it on an angle. And like this person could not take that. They were just like, no, I need the procedure. I need the by the book way that you were supposed to pack boxes around here. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like it's not. I don't think it's that big a deal. You know, like you can put the. Go ahead. I don't remember. I was kind of joking, but they took it the wrong way. But I was like, yeah, go ahead. Put the sticker on at a quirky angle, and it's fine. Like, you know, I was like, okay, like, I don't know. It just seemed like something that like isn't that big a deal to you, but it is to that person, and you don't want to play it down. You know, I feel like I did handle it wrong in the moment because I'm just like, because I was just like, where'd that come from? I'm just like, that's not how I would react to things. That's all you had to go off of.
See
how would you react to things?
Is that you're trying to be perfect, bro?
You hold yourself, you hold yourself to a high standard,
That's why I like you, bro. Yeah. That's why I like you, because you're holding yourself to that standard too. You know, of being like, I can fuck up. I might have fucked up here, and you're analyzing it, and You can see like, but it's like it's good, but it's torturous, right?
It
It's
is,
torturous to always
yeah.
be like,
Can be crippling.
Really, you just made a joke right there.
Yeah.
That's all you did was make a joke, and like it really wasn't a big deal.
Uh-huh.
You could have. So many people would just leave that. It's nothing, but you think about it, and it sits there. It's very torturous sometimes because that's what I'm saying. Well, maybe there's levels of it. You know, you probably have a level of it, but there's people that even have an easier time before it. That does not bother them. They will let that go, bro. There's no self-analyzation. There's no rethought. It's okay. Like, what are you talking? If you bring it up, they'd be like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
It's just that we're all living a different reality.
100%. We all view things differently. We feel things about. We feel stronger, or like not as strong about particular things and ideas, and we all have our certain set of beliefs and core values at our heart at the end of the day, like of how we feel about things. It's all about how people go about things. Like I was thinking about like soldiers and like people who like they get angry easy and they're able to get in a lot of fights. Well, I'm like, well, they just may have that built in them. That just might be in their DNA. This might be who they are. Like it's as simple as me being like, I can easily drop things like that, but this person can't. It's just as easy both ways to be any one of those individuals, And we all draw that line of like, well, this was what would make me do this or that, but
Okay.
we all view things differently.
So we've kind of got to this point. Now, what do we do now? Do we go decide? Do we pick who we like?
That's
That's the thing. Do we pick who we like, or do we try to like? Are you teaching someone? Like that's the thing, because you feel like you're teaching someone, but if you ask them, they would feel like they're teaching you.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we all have like deal breakers, like things that would be like red flags. Where it'd be like, well, I probably wouldn't hit this person up because like they like they made that really weird racist joke. Like I know it's probably playful and innocent, but that's just a little weird. I would never do that.
Playful and racist. Never heard it.
Yeah, you never like. I don't know. It's like they say they have a lot of theories. Like you say, you look for people that are like parental figures or things of that nature. There are some relationships that I found that like are just super fun. They're super fun to be around. You just have good times together. But other than that, there's none of this like real talk in there about like, oh, well, we're trying to break this thing down. Oh, we're actually gonna. There's no other real spark of that there. It's just all built on like, hey, like we can geek and have a good laugh together. Like there's a lot of that too. Is that really superficial? Is that superficial as another relationship? Like what constitutes good people in your life? Like
so let me ask
you want.
This, though. Couldn't a friendship be a vice?
Yes, enablers. Yeah,
Right?
they can be.
Enablers,
They can.
same
Yeah,
time.
yeah, they can be. Yeah,
So when you're like, oh, they're not having these talks, well, they don't got those friends to have those talks.
yeah.
They got those friends to be yes men,
Yeah.
turn up,
Yeah.
go where they want to go.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of relationships that are built on that, and they end up not lasting long because there are things that can easily like cause rifts in those relationships. If there's any type of disagreement, well, it might be something unforgivable because I thought we always had this good time together, and now we're not.
Yep.
Whereas like
it's so fragile of a relationship.
Yeah.
We're like once we build up this much, it's gonna take a lot to break it down.
Yeah,
More than
exactly.
one
Yeah,
night.
yeah.
One night can fuck up a shitty friendship like nothing.
Yeah.
One mistake. There's nothing. It's not built on nothing.
100%. So if you're not having fun with this person anymore, well, they're probably not gonna be around, And I find myself. I told you before. I feel like I find it, and this could be defense mechanism. But I feel like it's tough for me to build new relationships with people, and to really just like open up and put that hand out. It's weird. I feel like a lot of times people have to reach out to me, and then I gotta be like, like
I like people.
yeah, 100%. I mean, I think I definitely used to be like super reclusive, even growing up as a teenager. Like I was definitely a lot more reclusive, and it wasn't until like my going out with like you guys a lot and really opening up and meeting people and talking to a bunch of different people. It was like, and even then it took some convincing to be like, wow, like you do want some people in your life. You do have to try to hold on to some people. If people do show good qualities and you get to know them a little bit more, you do have to try and keep them and hang on to them in your life, and I guess make time for them. Like
that's what I'm stressing.
Yeah, there's a lot. Because there's not a lot of time.
There's just not a lot of time. There's not a lot of people like that either, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like those people that I was thinking of today. It's like these were just the people that meant a lot to me, bro. I didn't post, not one family member, bro. I lost family members. I don't think about them.
Yeah.
Think about people that I loved, man.
Yeah.
People that meant a lot to me, that shaped who I was a lot, and like, we're young, bro.
Yeah.
We're young, man.
And
like from like.
And you can at any day you could meet a lifelong friend. You know, it doesn't.
Or
That,
lose one.
yeah, or lose one, man, or lose one. Yes, 100%, man, 100%. You know, it does it. I told you before, man. Like, just there's not a lot of like loss in my life. You know, like where like you know there's some friendships that like didn't like dimmed out, but I've had like a traumatic like super close friend like go like nothing where I was like damn like Mike fucking's gone like whatever the case may be like Mike like that's like. So like next level shit, like because I think it's more because I've just never built that with other people. You know what I'm saying? Like I never really sought out and built those relationships because it takes two. It's not just like it's not just people just didn't reach out to me. It also takes me to sit there and be like, yeah, like let's be friends. You know, let's build a relationship. Like because it goes both ways. You know, friendship's a two-way street.
The core of your family and friends is lived.
What do you mean? Like you said, lived? What do you mean? What do you mean
like
live?
most of your childhood friends are alive.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Most of your friends you've met are alive.
Yeah.
Your family that you grew up with is still alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everybody that was in that house.
Yeah, everyone that I formed a close bond with, like I haven't like lost. There was been like, damn, like what the fuck, like, you know, like where's really just like I don't like. That's where like sometimes I feel like because I have had loss in my life, you know, like. But I feel like sometimes I told you like where I feel like a psychopath or like a sociopath at times where I'm just like I just feel like it didn't affect me as much as it should. Is that me? Is that a stonewalling technique from me?
I mean, just
you think about these things.
It sounds like you just really haven't lost someone that was like that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
it's a good thing, bro.
Oh, it's definitely a good thing. You know, it's definitely a good thing. You know, of like I always think about like of like whose creation like. Is that just the way it was meant to go down? Or like, maybe I should have held on to some people, you know, and maybe it would have. I don't know, you know.
Yeah, but like it can happen so quick, bro.
It can happen so quick.
You talked to me like 24 months ago. I'm telling you, like, yeah, I kind of had it.
Mm,
you talk to me now, and I'm like,
everything.
It's like it happens like it's nothing. You could lose your whole friend group in a year.
Yeah, 100%. And the time goes quick too. The time goes fast. It is not.
People move on quick.
People do move on quick, man.
Bro,
people move on quick.
That's what I'm saying when I can't let go, yo.
Yeah.
I can't forget about these people. Like, it's like every day I think about them. Every day I can't get over that they're not here. And people just move on and start new families.
Mm-hmm.
And make new friendships and stop talking. It's like,
man,
this shit really bothers me, bro.
I mean, that's the thing, like, you know, without, like, I don't know how people don't deal with shit properly, you know. Like I don't know the proper way, but I know for the most part, it seems like people do it in a lot of unhealthy ways. Whether they start looking for something outside, or they start looking for, you know, something to fill that hole, or just trying to replace it, or, you know, I mean.
I would love to see the numbers on these addicts, bro, and just see how many of them come from like single parent families, no parent families, like, because it's a whole different ball game, bro.
Poor.
Like I've met plenty of people recently. It's like, yeah, you know, we come from two different sides. Like completely, dog. They're telling me about trips to Hawaii and family vacation homes and shit.
Yeah, I remember when I was in.
So like, if you were going through some things, you could go to your dad or you could go to your mom.
That's so like I remember when I went away to trade school after high school. I am not away, but you know I would travel to Columbia. You know, and there was a lot of people from like D.C. and all around Maryland that would come here. And I remember there was one kid that I ended up being friends with. And I remember, like, well, most of us from the city just didn't have cars. Like, he had his car, and he'd always be like, well, why don't you guys have your license? Like, you need a license to do this type of work. Like, why don't you have it yet? And everyone's just like, well, I mean, I would be the first to get my license in my family. I'd be the first one to have a car. And, you know, his parents bought him a car.
Understand, bro.
Yeah, you know, you know, it's just like, it's just different. Like, you know, and that's not an excuse. Like, you know, I'm not trying to make it an excuse. You know, again, disclaimer.
No, I love you, dog.
Yeah.
I love you. I'm sorry we got to do it.
But
who we are.
Yeah, but like it's just different backgrounds, you know. So most of us, same thing, single parent household, or we were adopted by someone else in the family, and most of broken
even
homes.
Like
with
you, like a good situation with your grandma, but that's not your mom. That's not your dad. That's not someone who's gonna, you know, constantly able to push you and have that deeper connection.
Yeah.
You know, that's just the truth of like that does mean something, bro. That
does
push you, like that does have someone to fall back on.
Yeah.
So processing these things, well, everything I process is alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I see so many people, bro. It's like calling their moms, calling their dads. It's like,
Yeah.
bro, you can't even fucking understand your blessings, dog.
Yeah.
You couldn't even understand it, man. Like,
Yeah.
how do I get it through to you
Mm-hmm.
of how rare and how precious that is? And I've always had a really cynical view on it. I never thought it was cynical to before. I used to always say, like, you know, your mom and dad get you to this adult point, you know, to the point where you can eat.
Take care of yourself. Do something.
You got to be happy, right?
Yeah.
You know, I left my mom and dad at 15, bro. I was happy that I could go work and could eat myself and could eat
And just
shit,
take
you know? Like, I was
put
so
it
happy.
take care of it in your own hands.
And I told that to someone, and they were like, no. They were like, I don't believe that. They were like, I don't believe that at all. They were like, you know, I believe that if you bring a life into this earth, like, you do have some responsibility to bear it to adult form. I was like, oh, fuck, you know, you do got a point there. Like, it is a point that if you do that, I guess they do owe you something, but still, like, that's a long time, over a decade.
Yeah. It just,
15 years is a long time.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I think also to an extent, like the loss of value of having that responsibility has just deteriorated over time. You know, like, there's a lot of broken homes and a lot of people who seem to not take children very seriously. Like, it's because I mean, you can have them at any moment. No matter who you are, you know, no one can tell you not to have them, and you could have them by accident. You could be a bad broken person, then you get a baby, raise a bad broken person. I mean, like, it's, you know, like, it's a huge responsibility just to bring a life in. It means so much to bring life to this planet, and to be able to be in a position to raise and treat it properly, and to teach it correctly, and to make it into a good person, you know, and like you owe so much once you bring this life in here. Because now there's so many, I mean, you dump a baby, it's absolutely crazy. It's heinous. It's like, you know, it's like, what the fuck? Like, it's, you know, it's, we've raised it. Yeah. We see the value in it, but a lot of people really don't see that same value. And it can just happen to anybody. And the next thing you know, there's this person to feed, the house, the shelter, the clothes.
Look at us, bro. I mean, here we are. We're trying to make a conscious decision to have a child.
Mm-hmm.
You're waiting. I'm waiting. We've waited. You know, it's like, meanwhile, people with way less intelligence have breeded 5, 6, 7 times.
Yeah.
So it's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to send your kid to the same school as those kids.
Yeah. Yeah. And interacting in the society that you really have no particular say in how it's run or how it goes down, or, you know, like, we all have our cultural things that we teach people, but, you know, in the grand scheme of things, you send it out in the world and you're like, well, yeah, kid, this ain't fair, but hey, go out there, you know, do your thing. Yeah, hopefully you can just hopefully you can just,
hey, I had it shitty, you're having shitty.
Hopefully you can hand them something, you know, like, hey, like this is,
but that's not the mindset that, like, the poor people have. The rich people have that mindset of hopefully you can handle something. Poor people literally have a mindset of, I had it bad. Hey, for me, I had it worse than you.
Yeah.
That's literally how
you can't expect much. You can't expect much.
Bus? We never had a bus.
Okay,
I went 14 miles to school.
You're conscious. You can hear me now. I mean, we really also, I really undervalue how much consciousness there is after 2, 3, 4, like, imprintable it is. Like, you just sit here, as soon as you can hear something, I'm just going to tell you this, like, and that's just going to shape your view moving forward. There we go, we're both going on.
Yeah. I convince you of anything.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so, like, it's, we don't think about what we say out loud to a person, to a kid. Like, we don't think about, I mean, I don't have a kid, so I don't know, right. You know what I'm saying? But weighs so much. There's so much responsibility, bro. There's just, you have a person who can affect a physical world in many forms.
So look how heavy you're weighing that, bro. I weigh it just as heavy.
Yeah.
People are not weighing that as heavy.
They're not. It's deteriorate, bro.
What are we going to do? What am I going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
When you see something, you think you're making a smart, conscious, loving, intelligent decision. And no one else sees it that way, bro. They think that you're waiting. Yeah. Why are you waiting? When are you going to pop one out?
Yeah.
When are you going to pop one out, bro? I already popped 6 out.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know there was fucking...
And
I thought it was 45 planets out there.
And that's where, like, you really look at yourself and you just think about how much you really control and, like, matter and, like, what you really can, like, physically and, like, emotionally touch out here in this world. That's just driven by, like, it seems like a force that seems so much greater than you.
Yeah.
And you walk outside and you're like, what the fuck? And everyone just goes with it. And you feel stupid for just going against the grain. You feel almost silly just being like, I don't know about this, but you still go about it because everyone else is going about it. It makes it feel so much easier, you know. What I'm saying, like earlier, it was like there had to be like a mass crazy like uproar where like no, like there wouldn't have to be work. The work would have to be burned down tomorrow
And the whole
for me not
time
to
it's
go
like
in that bitch.
Every whose balls here can produce a soul.
Yeah.
Like, we're just at a dangerous fucking time.
And then you can't force people to be around and raise a child. Like, there's a lot of people that just drop seeds and just fucking
like
drop seeds everywhere and leave. Like,
I mean, I want to be around for it, right? Like, I do want to be around for it.
yeah,
you want to see how it plays out for as long as I can. But it is kind of bullshit.
Well, like the children are like
the circle of how it does it. It's really unfair.
Yeah.
It's very unfair to the good people.
Yeah.
It's much more cruel to people that want to be good.
Yeah, it's very cruel, man. It's like you want to think responsibly, you want to plan, you want to try and
But all the other things, you're more susceptible. Like you said, you're more weak.
Well, at the same time,
you are weaker. You are weaker because you're a good person. Bro.
Yeah, and at the same time, no matter like your initial instinctual thoughts and beliefs, but like, you're still human and are still susceptible to human altering behaviors and to propaganda, to brainwashing, to being led into thinking things and to be like and to control your thought process. Like, you're still just as susceptible as any human on earth to like these types of like psychological things that could alter your person. And you're still trying to be this good person, but then you're still thinking, and like it like you said earlier, it puts you in a very tough spot of just, man, does the world really work in this type of fashion of where, like with the karma thing you brought up at one point, like, is it really just this intermingling dance, or is it just a fucking free for all, man? It's just a fucking free for all. You do whatever the fuck you want in this bitch, like and it doesn't matter because there's no rule or law. There's nothing else written in stone besides the physics we adhere to. I can't fly, but I can stab fucking people and fucking and burn shit and destroy whatever the fuck you have. Like, you can do that. Like, there's no righteous law here.
Just lock you up.
Yeah, just chaos.
But
yeah. There's ultimately chaos because they do fucking crazy shit in the same structure, and framework as society. Like, they're in charge of these power structures and they do some crazy, absolutely vile shit because you think their rule is law and really it's just a bunch of people telling you what you can and can't do, but then they turn around and do this type of shit. They don't abide by the same rules and laws in a government setting. At the end of the day, it'd be like, well, if Pelosi or the president decided to do something, it'd be the United States of America. It'd be the whole of everybody deciding to do this shit. But it's really just this one person is being like, yeah, we're gonna fucking America's invading in here. America's in here. We're in this bitch. We're invading. Like, they don't have to follow this shit. They don't have to follow none of it.
We kind of talked about something before. Like, I hate being the guy, but it's like the levels thing, right? Of like that one guy being like, well, I want to kill.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, you can't kill.
Yeah. Reasonable.
We're just telling you, like, be reasonable. Be
Yeah,
good.
it's
Be
like,
good. Like, and he's like, well, I want to kill. I'll kill bad people. And we're like, we want somebody. The people that we want to kill, the bad people, we don't want them to do it. You know what I mean? There was actually a great point by a congressman. I thought this was actually really brilliant. Listen to this. With that Kevin McCarthy thing, I forget which congressman came up. But I think it was Matt Gay. I can't remember. But he came up and he said, maybe the Speaker of the House should be somebody who doesn't want the job. Because this man clearly is willing to do anything that he possibly has to sell his soul to get this job. And when he said that, bro, I started thinking about maybe all political jobs should be like that. Maybe you should not be able to be a candidate. You're not even able to run like that. You just stand for who you are on your internet website or whatever it is, right, and fund yourself, and we're elect who we elect. Like, maybe I want you to do the job, not want the job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When you want the job, it's like, well, who the fuck? Why do you want to be Speaker of the House so bad?
Yeah.
dude?
Yeah.
That you're- and meanwhile, there's a guy they're elected on the side, the second guy they're elected. He's like, I don't want the job. I want to be a House of Representatives leader or some shit like that. He's like, I don't even want this job. And this guy's just like, I'll suck a dick for this job.
Give you whatever you want.
Give away all his power, bro.
Whatever you want. Yeah. Give
All of
whatever
his
you
power.
want.
A shill.
Bro, and this is the thing, like, you know, there's some things that, like, it's you don't know what to really take it or really, but there's some things you see and they're just like, whoa, there's one thing in there where, like, one of the things he gave up, he was like, well, there's no more omnibus type shit going on where, like, there's all, like, it's a spending bill, it's all one big bill with all of that thing crammed in. No, it's gonna be like infrastructure. That's just what that has to be like. So, like, there's some good things that came about from it sounds like, but, like, it also shows you how at the same time, like, ridiculously, like, this thing is run, like how dumb this thing gets run. You know, like they're fighting over these little things and that makes sense. You know, like, okay, well, what, of course, and then one of the other things they did, they were like, oh, well, now you also can't present a bill and give people the copies, you know, within 5 minutes of you guys voting on this shit. You gotta give us 72 hours. Like,
Okay, bro.
well, they're fine. Like, why? Like,
But
why is this
listen.
shit still like?
First, that is all true, but fuck
Yeah.
that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the main point of it, dog, they did not go negotiate with Congress members.
Mm-hmm.
They negotiated with super PACs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the super PACs made the agreements, and the Congress members agreed with the super PACs that backed them.
Yeah, brother. What they say in those like about us pages of those super PACs, we're just like, we ensure
So
that
did you-
people decide. Like,
So with those guys, you seen, like, their big issue, what they wanted was they wanted 2 of the 3 seats or 3 of the 5 seats that sit on the committee that decides what bills go to the floor. That's what Kevin McCarthy gave up on that last day. It was that, and that also the right that any one Republican Congress member can call him to lose his seat, basically.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want it to be 5, apparently.
Yeah.
But 1, that's like unheard of, apparently. I don't know about politics. Right? But I just thought it was crazy that, so now this super PAC, they found a way, probably in way shorter time than they ever thought they would. They probably had a long plan to do this. They just found it out overnight because he was willing to suck so much dick.
yeah.
To be able to get 2 or 3 majority decision on all bills that will hit the floor. That is crazy, bro. A super PAC. Not even the Congress.
Mm-hmm.
Funding them.
Mm-hmm.
Millions
Yep.
of dollars to push their agenda. And like you said, what's it say on that internet? What's it say? It's literally like, and anybody that goes against our agenda, we make it clear that they did. Like,
Yeah,
what the
yeah.
fuck?
So we ensure that, you know, the decisions are taken out because of our immense, you know, control. They didn't say control, but like
Power.
influence. They
Yeah.
said influence over members and its members and whatnot. And I mean,
They're
like,
just flaunting it.
and I mean, like, a super PAC is literally like, they just can raise unlimited amounts of money. This is unlimited amounts of money. They can just whatever. They can just they can just raise whatever it is. PACs are limited, but it's just now we just. So what is even the point of having a limited one and then an unlimited one? It's like why even making this? Why are they even allowed to do this type of shit and have this type of influence in our government? You know, like, the donations aren't unlimited. Like, those seem to be capped, but still, like, them to do something for a $2.3 million bonus that isn't even related to their job. They get this donation from this person to their campaign to make sure that they vote this way. It's so absurd. And you know-
It's worth that much for a campaign contribution?
You-
You're telling me that doesn't
you-
go to their pockets
you-
at all?
Oh, bro, bro,
has
it
to,
definitely
right?
goes to
It
the
has
pockets
to.
in some way.
Because why would they care that much?
And then what's the next thing they do? They just you know, took away some of the power of the ethics committee. The ethics committee that handles complaints and reports about other congressmen and monitors how people deal with shit like stock trades and money donations and shit like that. They went ahead and they capped, like, the amount of, like, people they're allowed to have actually hired on and investigate shit. Like, it's just like, why would you even want to cripple this type? And the one guy that's being investigated by them right now is literally sitting there just like, this is fucking great. This is fantastic. You know, not because I'm being investigated, but
It's
you know,
wild. It's what, big shit show, bro. It really is.
Yeah.
It's very tough to try to worry about all this, and you're trying to worry about your own mental health.
You know what else
You're
scared
trying
me?
to improve your job.
You know what else scared me? It was when Matt Gaetz was speaking. Matt Gaetz was speaking, and this is when the Republicans walked off the floor when he was speaking. And as they were doing that, I remember like there was a representative, or not a representative, but someone who was banging the gavel. I'm not sure who she was, but she was banging the gavel, calling for order. And you hear in the someone saying something to her, and then she just repeats it. It was so creepy and ominous. I'm not sure if you were meant to hear that or if that's not even that big of a deal. But she's sitting there, and you just hear the person's like, order. And she's just like, order. The subjects must remain seated while speaking. The subjects must remain seated. Like it was so creepy because it was like an ominous male voice from like the Twilight Zone. It was just the weirdest sounding shit. It could mean nothing. It could absolutely mean nothing. But like to hear that, I'm just like, man, like what the fuck actually is going on in this type of building? We have all these representatives that people supposedly vote on, and like they're in this position for however long they want to be.
Willing to sell whatever they have
and then
to
they
sell.
are part of, and this is
Like,
both sides.
Bro,
Political committees on both sides.
You could be Speaker of the House right now. Like anything that Kevin McCarthy's ever done in his political career did not give him one wield of power at that position. You would have as much power as Kevin McCarthy if you got elected.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally how it is. Like, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
And we're just allowing it.
And it's just this theater.
Where are we going to focus
This theater.
What should I focus on?
So,
tell me, bro.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make this simpler for myself.
Yeah.
Should I focus on America's problems? Should I focus on my problems? Should I focus on my friends' problems? Should I focus on my family's problems? Should I focus on my career?
Mm-hmm.
Should I focus on my house?
Mm-hmm.
Should I focus on my relationships?
Mm-hmm.
Should I focus on women? Should I have fun? Should you save up? It's like, it never ends.
It does.
And when
not.
you try to learn it all, you're just like,
And not only that, but then you also task yourself to be like, researched and like be well versed in topics and to be able to hold conversations and things of that nature.
And also dealing with your own issues and figuring out your own problems, becoming a better person and a better friend, a better lover, a better son, a better grandfather.
Also trying to figure out what this life means and what I should be doing.
Right.
Like,
deciding if the stars or the oceans mean more. Like,
and then any one of those could take up an hour and a half of your life.
By
just thinking about it. By just thinking about it.
People
Or your whole life. Or your whole
on it.
life. Yeah. Or your whole life. Yes. Yeah, one particular thing. But you could spend like an hour.
Somebody spends their whole life
and
on
30
somebody
minutes.
spends no part of their life on.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like it's a complex world, and they don't make it any fucking easier.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, Steve?
Yeah. And that's the thing.
What's
Like
your dream, Steve?
like that's the thing. Like I feel bad sometimes. Because like I don't feel like I necessarily like shoulder the world's problems. Like I feel like I don't hold them, and like sometimes I feel like I'm like, well, you should feel just as responsible as like watching some fucked up shit going on as like like it's just as bad as being a part of it almost. And then I also don't fault myself for not like being some type of like crazy like righteous warrior. Like there's a lot of times I think like I'm like I feel as though I want things that could be as simple and like dumbed down as possible. Like I want relationships with people. I want those to be the most complex things in my life. Is the relationships that I have with people. I want. I mean, other than that, like I don't want other things to be hard. Like I wanted to do like. I realize that there's a lot of things that I have in this life that I will probably have to give up just to like, not be a part of these things. Like you probably will have to become more mechanically skilled to fix things and work on your own house and learn all these and invest in these things too. But like, like I don't want to be a part of whatever the fuck this is. Like I don't want to have to. I don't want to work. Like I want to, like I said, I just want to go out there. I want to get some land. I want to be self-sustainable. Like I don't like when you say think about it. Like you talk about like building a village, and I'm just like I just don't feel like as worried about being like, well, I'm gonna go build like something new here. Like it just doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that bad? Sometimes I feel like it is. Like sometimes I do feel like it is.
Yeah, like you see it as your personal journey.
Sometimes I feel selfish. Sometimes I feel real selfish. And. I mean, I want people to be there with me, and I want to bring people along, but I also feel very strongly about how I build relationships with people, So I think that will probably hinder me in life at sometimes.
I
think
it
it will.
One thing that I feel like I've learned, bro, that might help you is that like you can't expect strangers to hold you as highly as you hold you high.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's tough to be like, oh, I expect this stranger to impress me.
Yeah.
Well, were you impressive?
Yeah.
You're assuming you were,
Mhm.
right? Like
Yeah.
So it's very tough when we go
Yeah.
like we're gonna pick and choose who we want, or I don't want no one. And then when it comes time to wanting someone,
Yeah.
you look around and no one stayed because
Yep.
you were a hard ass.
Yeah.
Or you were like,
Yeah.
I'll do
You were
this.
a dickhead.
I'll do right.
Or you just really were not what you thought you were.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And again, like you worry about those things, and of course you can't expect people to give you that type of honesty to be like, hey, dude, like just some feedback, like you probably shouldn't like talk like that, to people or say something like that.
Alan Joke's producer.
You're just gonna get like most of the time people are gonna handle those types of things very formally, just to be like, yeah, and find some way to exit it and break off from this person and not have to talk to them any further. Then they're not obligated to get in contact with them, or they didn't get their number or anything like that. They didn't take it there, like once I'm willing to give you my number and you start texting me or adding me on socials and you message me, and then I'm like ignoring you, it's a whole other thing.
It's weird that that's how it plays out, but you're right.
Yeah, and I mean, like,
I treat you on socials.
Yeah, 100%, bro.
I'm not a real person.
I'm yeah.
I'm literally, bro.
Yeah.
None of it's real.
Well, like once you throw in that contact line though to your direct person though, man, like it becomes like a whole other responsibility. Like, that's the thing, like because we attach ourselves to these things, like we feel as though like
they know it's
you. Yeah, you're like, oh well, like well, I know they received it.
I didn't see that.
They gotta.
How did you not see that?
Yeah, exactly, and they're supposed to respond to it. Like, well, again, like I'm not always gonna be reachable. Like just because like the phone says it, like it doesn't mean. I know everyone has their phone on them at all times, but like shit, like these are not like our lifelines. I mean, they are, but man, like you don't need to be responding everywhere all the time whenever just because you have this thing on you. I don't always have to answer calls, like just because it's always on me. I could be in the middle of something. It could be any one thing.
But you did see that.
But yeah, but you did see that, and now we made, and yeah, exactly.
Why didn't you answer that? If you seen it, why didn't you answer it?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I was busy. Well, what did you do?
Yeah.
I wasn't doing much, but I didn't answer. I was doing stuff around the house. You were doing stuff around the house. You couldn't just answer me real quick. It was a yes or no. That was pissed. It's like it doesn't make sense either way, honestly.
Yeah, and once you get that type of like contact to me, like that, I think that's I think it's probably more of an intimate thing that people think, like because people aren't always gonna message you and hit you up, but like there probably will be someone that you didn't really want to talk to, and then they find you or hit you up, you message you, and then it's like you're ignoring them now. It's a whole other social landscape when we have this type of social media at our disposal. It works differently, and I personally don't really like it. Like I like that we can all talk in this group chat and make jokes and send memes and gifs and like I guess you gotta take the good and the bad, but I mean shit, man, come on, don't put this pressure or expectation on me just to be reachable with a computer in my pocket all the time.
But that's literally what you are.
Yeah, and that's what's boiled down to. It's like
that's the funniest part to me.
Yeah,
is it's like yes, you did see
before
it.
I had
it's there.
Before I
chose not to see it or answer.
I get like your home phone, like there was that, and then I guess before that, you couldn't contact someone. You would just probably knock on their door and show up and be like, oh hey, what's up? What's going on?
It's not a bad thing. But it does give a lot. But I mean, at the same time, like I like that you can be like, hey, be there about 6.
Oh, it's great, yeah.
Right? Like, it's so much more advantageous.
I think our use of it, and the expectations we put on it just exceed really what it should be. I know that this is the typical norm amongst people, I assume, but that it shouldn't be the case. Like I'm glad we can coordinate things. Like, hey, I'm 50 minutes out. Oh, I'm running a little bit late. Oh, I live chat you. Oh, I'm here out front of this.
Oh, hey, I got a crash.
I'm at the entrance, bro. Can you come meet me? Like, yeah, it's wonderful.
You could
so many
FaceTime
advantages.
Your baby being born to your Italian grandfather from Los Angeles.
So many advantages to it, man.
It's crazy.
And you can type people. Before you had to put a letter, you had to write a letter. That's what I remember when people went crazy over emails, because you could just, and then we were all kids on instant messengers. It wasn't on Facebook. I mean, you could send messages on MySpace, but it wasn't instant messaging.
No, yeah.
And then you would go to AIM, you get your AIM username, and then you could just be like, "Oh, what's up? Boom, bing, bang, 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 bang." Did you have AIM? You had AIM at one point.
I was kind of late to that.
Yeah. I was in a heavy AIM era where like that's how everyone kind of texted.
You could comment and shit. We would just be talking in comment sections.
Yeah, that's true.
Whole fucking story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Messenger was only like a recent type of thing where like you had instant things to your phone, because like
idea,
I remember before. No, they don't.
So many great ideas.
Yeah, and they start off with this, not even this particular thing in mind. It just evolves to something that we create something, a monster that we could have never ever controlled, and it just would have snowballed out of control anyway.
Make it funner.
Because of its inception. Yeah. Make it more addictive. We need users. What matters most? We need users on the platform. Users on the platform. Users on the platform.
But we like it and it's fun. So that's the hard
yes,
part.
Yes, the hard part. Yeah,
Right? It's a contradiction.
It's kind of like the perfect storm. It's a perfect storm with things. It gives you that dopamine. You're able to instantly gratify from basic things of like sharing a picture. You drop a like. You find memes. You share them with your friends instantly. You all can live react with messages and laugh about it.
Your phone you use the least for calling.
Oh yeah, I never do calling. Never call people. Never call nothing. Nope. It's all messaging.
All messaging.
All messaging. Yep.
So it's like not even a phone no more.
No, it's not fun at all. Yeah. It's just an instant messaging device. You just boom, 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 boom. People put out content for you to view on your phone. You like it. You share it with friends. These are now your interests. You have a Pinterest board. Look, I like this kitchen aesthetic. This is how I would put my kitchen.
We're gonna put all this in a time capsule. Screen record this time capsule on the ground. What the fuck?
Oh, this grainy ass footage from way back then.
Fucked up time in history, bro. You hear him?
Yeah,
He's on some shit, bro. That sounds horrible.
I'm glad we abolished that 20 years ago.
Yeah, so stupid.
Fingers crossed.
Look at those slaves.
Or like they look back, they're just like, man, they never would have got likes. They would have
get laid.
Yeah.
Love you all. Stay safe.